Hey, my name is Jason Taken. I'm an attorney in Illinois, and today I wanted to talk to you about the eviction process for landlords. I've gotten a lot of questions, and sometimes landlords just want the information without having to go hire somebody or take up someone else's time, so I totally get that. And I figured I would just take some of my time to answer that question, hopefully make the process easier for you. If you decide to come talk to me to have us do the eviction for you, that's fine. Otherwise, hopefully this kind of overview is going to give you at least a starting point, and then you can move on and go do what you need to do. So, the audience here is for Illinois landlords, and I just want to talk to you about the brief steps, and then kind of, give you kind of some guidance if you want it. So, before we get into that, though, if you want to call my office and talk to me, go ahead and call me at 847-301-1001, and we will, there's always someone on the end of that phone 24/7, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction, or at least notify me to give you a call back if it's urgent. So, the eviction process in Illinois, the first thing you need to do is you need to file the appropriate notice. So if your tenants aren't paying rent, it's a 5-day notice. If they're violating lease terms, like having a pet or damaging stuff, that's a 10-day notice. And if they're on a month-to-month tenancy, or they're a holdover tenant, meaning the lease expired and they're still in the place, that converts to a month-to-month, so you need a 30-day notice to vacate. Those notices are required to be filed before you file the lawsuit. After the time period, the 5, 10, or 30 days has expired, your next step, if they haven't remedied it, either by paying you the rent you demanded, fixing the problems that were causing the lease violation, or they haven't left, you go ahead and head to the county courthouse where the property is located and file the lawsuit. There are standard forms both on the court websites usually. There's also Illinois approved court forms that every court is supposed to accept, but some courts do have some nuance. And you can just honestly, like I've seen pro se landlords, meaning landlords who represent themselves, just handwrite the issues. They're kind of fill in the blank to some extent, and then get those filed. You could expect to spend on a filing fee somewhere between $300 and $500, just depending on the court. And once that's filed with the court and the clerk stamps it, then you're going to go ahead and serve both the summons, which is also a form you can fill out, court-provided form. You can serve the summons and the complaint on the tenant. Now, I'm just rethinking this. I'm kind of doing this on the fly, but those notices, you have to serve those on the tenant also. So those notices I was talking about. So you serve the complaint and summons on the tenant. And then, on that summons, it's going to say, hey, you need to be in court by this date. That date is assigned to you by the clerk. And you then go to court. Right now, as of 2020, most of the courts are requiring what's called early resolution program, which is like, hey, can we reach some kind of settlement, maybe apply for state assistance for rent, whatever the case is. And, kind of figure out what's going on there. So with that being said, once you get to court, the judge is going to tell you what to do. If there's no agreement reached, they'll set a trial date. And that's where the plaintiff, you, the landlord, is going to have to prove up all the elements in your complaint, which is, hey, I served them, hey, they're not paying rent, and there is a lease, or there's not a lease, and they're a month-to-month tenant, something like that. So that's best handled, in front of the judge, and the judge will either grant the order of eviction or tell you why they can't. At that point, once you have the order of eviction goes to the sheriff, and then the sheriff will, on the date that the order of eviction is effective, sometime after that, sometimes I'm seeing 3 to 5 weeks, they will go reclaim your property. They'll usually call the tenant or an agent of the tenant, they'll call the tenant and or landlord and an agent of either to kind of let them know that they're coming. And then you have your property back. There are easier ways to do it. There's ways to settle early. There's something I'm seeing recently is a cash for keys, where maybe you incentivize your tenant to leave by paying them, $100,000, whatever money gets them out. It's a way to do it to avoid the court thing, and that's something you have to make, a decision you have to make based on your personal circumstances. So that's the eviction process. If you have any other questions, go ahead and give me a call. There should also be like a website link, something around this video. Either way, give me a call and let me know. 847-301-1001. Jason Taken. Talk soon.